Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? It's your boys, Chris, J Rob, coming to you live, voice of college football 365 live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's our first show. Happy to have you guys here. Gonna introduce ourselves. Just get to know get to know us a little bit, see how things go. J Rob, how you feeling, man?
I'm excited, man. Honestly, the itch to talk about college football. I mean, I've had it for a while. I honestly think the worst time of the year, Chris, is when football ends. It's like February and January are like, it's a gift and a curse. You want to see the finish, but it's like, when is it going to come back? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, we are lacking right now for sure. All we got is basketball. So I got the itch too, man. I'm ready to get back into it. We were teased a little bit with the draft. You know what I mean? So got a chance to see some of the old college players and kind of think about what's going on next year. But let's get into the introductions. Again, my name is Chris Hobbs. I'm a Stanford graduate, Stanford football player. Live in Atlanta, Georgia now. Kind of done everything in sports from ESPN, EA Sports, BetMGM, the Atlanta Falcons. Just kind of did it all. Like I said, played football. Father played football at the University of Miami. So, like I said, this is kind of in my blood, man. And I'm excited to talk to you guys and kind of see what you guys think and hear from you guys and see what J Rob has to say.
Yeah, my name is John Robinson IV, but everybody here call me J Rob. I also played Division I football, played at the University of Connecticut. Then I did my graduate year at Tennessee State University down in Nashville. I've been in sports media literally since I graduated, covered the NBL and the WNBL in Australia. I currently work for Dodgers Nation. We cover pretty much all the baseball, so around MLB people out there. We also cover, the Lakers and some of the LA teams out in Los Angeles. I reside in Los Angeles. And I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to talk football with y'all. I'm excited to read y'all comments. I'm excited for y'all to, hit us up outside this show and for us to connect. I really am a sports junkie, just a nerd. Honestly, if you go to a bar with me, I'm sparking a sports debate. So that's the best way to converse. And I'm excited to be here with my partner, Chris. It's going to be electric. I'm really excited.
Let's make it happen, man. So look, we're going to start off, kind of do start off of last year. The NFL draft just passed. Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, a lot of those guys who got drafted. Colorado's going to look a lot different next year. That's safe to say. But let's get your thoughts, J. Rob. The big topic everybody's talking about, Shedeur Sanders, his slide. How do you feel about that?
Okay, so this is my issue with the slide. I understand that Shedeur Sanders and his father and the Sanders family are very confident, very outgoing. They don't turn themselves down. And I think, Chris, as you know, in football, especially going to a place like Stanford, at UConn, we have to wear a suit and tie for every trip, every road game to the plane. And so I do think in football culture, there is a level of you got to button yourself up. There is a professionalism that people kind of expect. And obviously, like those higher ups, your head coaches, they have an idea of what they want you to be, of what their idea of what you are. I think for Shedeur, his family, they don't really change or conform to anybody else's system in terms of maybe their personality, how they speak, how they go about things. And I do think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. However, the slide still to me isn't justified because we've seen players with legitimate character concerns, Chris, like legitimately failed drug tests, can't stay out of in trouble, ineligible for college due to academics. Like we have seen this in a bigger sample size compared to Shedeur Sanders, who is too much of a massive personality. He rather makes some people uncomfortable with his confidence. And I watch all those clips with Cam Ward and him working out. Cam Ward seems very confident to me, seems very into himself as a leader. And, from his perspective, you look at his coach, Mario Cristobal. Mario Cristobal said he came into the locker room and pretty much took this Miami team by the horns. So he's a very confident guy, but still has all those leadership qualities you look for. You've never seen Shedeur in trouble. You've never seen him in a scandal. Nobody's ever really put him out there and said he did something bad or he wronged me. And they've been very much model students. I mean, they were a part of Colorado's first class of kids for the whole football team to be over a 3.0 GPA. So they also were in the classroom doing what they were supposed to do. So, I mean, if your only argument about Shedeur Sanders is he doesn't have the NFL athleticism, I'm going to throw some names out there of quarterbacks that are playing in the National Football League right now.
Let's hear it.
Jared Goff, how athletic is he? I mean, prior to the injury, Kirk Cousins had a phenomenal career in the NFL. I mean, we have quarterbacks right now in Baker Mayfield can't move and shake and bake like he was in Oklahoma in the NFL. He has to stand all 6 feet of him in that pocket and figure it out. Tua Tagovailoa legitimately cannot move in the pocket, and he is a timing-based quarterback, and that is no slight to him. But the mobility that he showed in Alabama, he can't do that to the same level he does in college football now. I don't see the difference in athleticism between Brock Purdy and Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. I think it is a overblown gripe against him, and it's ridiculous because he was 37-10, 4,100 yards, 71% completion percentage, second team All-American, big club for the third year. What else did you need to see?
Let me ask you this. Where do you think he should have went?
I think the Giants, to me, I would have took him at 3 with the Giants. But to be able to get Abdul Carter, and specifically in this draft, Chris, where there weren't a bunch of QB needy teams, you were able to go from Abdul Carter, then trade back in. They chose Jackson Dart. Now, I think Jackson Dart was my QB3, so I get it. Yeah. Sometimes QB3, if you like his potential, we've seen that a dozen times in the NFL draft. But I would have took him with the Giants. I think he was a perfect fit there in terms of the bright lights of that city, the media. He has had a spotlight since he was a kid. He was on a reality TV show. He's had all of this, Chris, he's had all of this attention his entire life, and he's never had a massive meltdown. He's played great football through it. These should be all intangibles that make him a solid quarterback in the National Football League. And my last point, I'm sorry to be long-winded about this, Chris. How do you have the worst offensive line in college football your junior year, your senior year, your offensive line ranks in the low hundreds of FBS, and you still put up 37-10, 4,100 yards, offensive player in your conference, and you are a game or two away from the Big 12 championship. If being able to play in chaos is not an NFL trait, I really don't know what is. And so I do think the slide had everything to do with the outside and not his ability to play the game of football.
Okay. So look, everything you say is fair. I'll give you that. I also agree. I don't think he should have won in the 5th round. I also don't think he should have won in the 1st round. And I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he put up good numbers. Yep. I honestly think his athleticism is fine. I don't think that's I think he's just like Cam Ward, as you said, even confidence-wise. And to be honest, I don't think that has as much to do with it. For me, this is just my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. And if I was a GM, I would look at it this way. It's hard for me to take someone as the leader of my team. We're talking about grown men with families. They're getting paid a lot of money. Take someone as the leader of my team who has never really led themselves. And I say that because I don't know anybody whose father has coached them all the way to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And when you're on that field in the NFL, his dad's not going to be with him on that field in the NFL.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's something that he has to consider. How's he going to react when he has chaos and his dad's not there with him? Mm-hmm. Like you said, playing in chaos, he's done that. He's done that a lot up to this point, but his dad has been right there with him, helping him kind of get through that. And the GMs have yet to see that without his dad. And I think that's kind of what slid. I don't think he slid. I don't think he should have slid that far. I think teams kind of got carried away. And, I think that, like Tom Brady came out and said, use it as motivation, but you passed on him like 6 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think there was a lot to that. And even him going to the Browns where they have a lot of QBs, and it's going to be, he has to work to make the team.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think his fan base, if he doesn't make the team, is going to be in an uproar. So we're going to see how it plays out, man. But no, I hope he does well. The slide to me was a little crazy. All the points you made were great though, but I'm taking Cam Ward for sure, and I'm not mad at the Giants for taking Jackson Dart. But yeah, there were a lot of quarterbacks I think he should have went ahead, and
Right.
based on his production in college. So
I will throw one thing out there though. Shout out to the Browns owner. Did you see the video? He's sitting behind the boys like this.
Yeah.
Like
that's real.
Because he probably was in the initial meeting room like, I want Sanders.
Right.
And the GM, the coach, Stefanski, they were just like, we don't want that level of media.
Right. Yeah. No, it's because whoever the media is gonna come. They say it was number one selling jersey as a 5th round pick. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so the media is gonna be wait till you get on the field. And if he's not on the field, that's another thing too. If he's not on the field, his fans are gonna be calling for him. Let the starting quarterback play bad. Man, it's gonna be the locker room is gonna be hard to handle. So I think that's the main thing too that a lot of teams don't want to deal with. And we saw that with the, I hate to compare it to this, but the Kaepernick situation that once like he becomes such a magnified figure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is gonna be an issue with teams. Yeah. And we'll see how it plays out for Shedeur though.
Nah, no doubt. I believe in him. I think he'll make the team. Like I look at the QB room. I think he has all the tools to get it done.
I think he does too, but I think also it takes more than just the tools. You know what I mean? And
yeah, for sure.
He has to have people on his side, but we'll see how it goes, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So I got a question for you. Who's QB number 1 coming out next year?
That's such a loaded question, Chris, because no lie, Chris, I got like 5 guys that it could be. This year.
I want to hear these 5.
All right, I'll give you 5. I'll give you 5 guys that could potentially end up being QB1 next year. Arch Manning.
For sure.
Lenore Sellers.
Okay.
Nico. Because of the size, the tools, the rapport. He have a phenomenal year. Is definitely on the table.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Dante Moore out in Oregon because he's a junior. So if he has a phenomenal year at Oregon, these kids are talking about he might win the Heisman. Everybody's all in.
He was highly recruited coming out of high school as well. So yeah.
The hype is outrageous with this kid. And then I'll be honest, Drew Aller.
Yeah, you got to say Drew Aller. Have to.
Drew Aller. So it's like those 5 guys. I do think right now it is a 5-man race for QB1. And the thing is, go ahead, throw it in there.
Go ahead. Tell me.
No, I was going to say it's going to be a 5-man race, and I think a lot of it is going to be dependent on how they play in conference, head-to-head matchups. Like Nico's going to play against Dante, Lenoris and Arch. I think play each other this year, so it's going to be Drew. I think he plays both of them next year. So they have a race to see who's the best because honestly, all 5 of them got all the tools you're looking for. We're talking about God-given physicals. All 5 legitimately have the NFL talent in terms of being able to throw the football and then God-given strength and athleticism. I mean, this might be the most athletic class of quarterbacks collectively in a potential draft class.
Yeah, Lenoris is insane. He's insane. But I actually have 2 more for you. So the first it's gonna be a little weird, but I think he'll have a bounce back. He was actually probably QB number 1 going into this past year. Had not a good year at all. Carson Beck. I think he is gonna bounce back under Shannon Dawson in Miami. Have a great year just like Cam did. Has a lot of weapons. Georgia, their system is not meant for like quarterbacks to kind of flourish. You know what I mean? They like running the ball, ground and pound. But I think he's gonna have a bounce back year this year in Miami. He has the talent. You know what I mean? If he can get his head right, I think the OC down there will do that. And then Cade Klubnik from Clemson. I think he also he has a lot like I said, the athletic ability, can run it, can throw it as well. So
yeah, I'm definitely in on Cade Klubnik as well. I actually should have said 6-man because I 100% agree with Cade Klubnik. I think Carson Beck, unfortunately, is going to be next year's Quinn Ewers. I think he's going to fall 6th, 7th round. I don't mean to sound harsh. I personally feel like the year before prior to the year he just had.
Mm-hmm.
I think versus real competition, he was so chaotic in the pocket by himself. He had the best offensive line in the conference and still was so erratic at times. He doesn't plant his feet when he throws all the time. And that's really one of his biggest issues with his interceptions. Not only are they sometimes bad reads, I don't even think he's stepping into his throws because I just think he's too antsy in the pocket. He's so erratic to me that I'm actually not all in on him. And I do feel like we'll be talking about him potentially being benched midway through next season.
Oh man, okay, that's fair. I mean, Miami has some good freshman quarterbacks coming in, so we'll see. But I think, like I said, I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. I think Georgia last year, their receivers definitely dropped a lot of passes. Definitely, there was a lot of confusion. Like sometimes they're running different routes, or I see receivers blocking and Carson Baker's throwing them the ball. I think a lot of that will be cleared up this year in Miami, hopefully. And I think if he can kind of clear those mistakes up, not throw as many picks, like I say, he's going to have tons of weapons. They have a lot of guys, a lot of transfer guys coming in at receiver. They have a lot of young guys coming in. JoJo Trader, he played with Jeremiah Smith in high school.
Yep.
He's looking to have a breakout year. Malachi Tony, he's a freshman coming in from American Heritage.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
They call him Baby Jesus. So
he is a monster, Chris.
So we'll see. I think he has a lot of weapons at his disposal. So
Luther Burden on steroids.
Yeah. Yep. He can do it all. Played quarterback in high school. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. So we'll see. Like I said, me being a Miami fan, I'm hopeful that Carson Beck will play good. So
now it makes way more sense. No, I feel it. I mean, look, you're right though. He does have the physical ability.
Yeah.
It to me with Carson Beck, to me it's not the physical for me. It's all mental.
No, you're right. Cool. So look, man, since we're already talking about the portal, Carson Beck, man, let's move it on. I know you have some high hopes for some teams this year, some major teams that are doing some big things in the portal, man. Who you looking at?
So this season, I'm throwing them in the bucket. I think they're going to be this year's Boise State. I'm going with the Rebels of UNLV. Now, I think this is college football's version of Last Chance U. I think Dan Mullen and his staff when they went around the portal, and to me, I think they look at it, Chris, as let's get guys who are trying to prove something.
Yeah.
It didn't work at all these stops. Let's bring them here, come and prove it.
Because if you think about it like that, Dan Mullen is low-key trying to prove something as well.
Exactly. Exactly. They're trying to also have his same ideology. It is the coach down to the players. And you know how this goes, Chris. We both do. Your coach wants you to attach to their identity, their personality style, the way they are, the way they lead. They want you to almost embody that. That idea, run through that coach. I will do anything. They want you to feel that. And so I think he did a great job getting guys who can be that maybe in his program. I mean, listen, you got Alex Orji, who, I mean, the way the Michigan fans talk about him, you would think he had a Nathan Peterman eight interception game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope I'm not butchering his name. Troy O'Mary, he went to ASU. Justin Flo, a lot to prove. Former 5-star. Everybody thought he was a sure thing.
Right.
This is a guy who, look, in run stoppage, I think he can be as physical as it gets, but he has to clean up his eyes in coverage. He is going to have to expand his field of view. But he has, again, this is God-given talent. It has to be. Yeah, he has to put it together. Vakai Gums from Arkansas, and then JoJo Earl from TCU. So this team, they got a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be, but UNLV is trying to reload. And so I'm just excited to see what type of scheme they come up with and what Dan Mullen and his staff are really cooking over there. But right now, I'd say they're my top as like my mid-major that's going to may sneak into the playoffs. The only one I might throw in there, because I also believe in this kid, UTEP, because of Malachi. I do think he might be a pretty decent quarterback, and if he can lead that team, they might be sneaky.
Okay. Yeah. Man, if UNLV, I'm not sure if they promised all these transfers, $100,000 that they did the quarterback last year. That's how they got him. Huh? Yeah, we're just gonna forget about that. So hopefully they finish the season there.
I did forget about that.
Yeah, hopefully they can finish the season, but we'll see. No, I like they were good last year. They've been good the last couple of years. Tulane, they beat some pretty good teams and they beat USC a couple of years ago in the bowl game. Had a good year last year. Had a couple of stumbles, but no, I think they're going to be good as good. I think they have something going down there. And man, that talent in Louisiana, they get some big time transfers. I think he transferred from I think Oregon. He was the backup. He just moved over to tight end.
Right.
Yeah, he's playing tight end now. So they have a lot of talent down there, man. So we'll see kind of what they can do this year. But that talent in Louisiana, I'm all for that. They can pump them out.
No, 100%. Honestly, that was a great pull. Because they were like a few games away last year. Like they were literally like when they look back at their film, they're looking at like a few fourth quarters that they wish they could have back.
Exactly. Yep. Few plays. Like, yep.
And that's so crazy. That's the crazy thing about football. That's why we love the game so much. When you look back at a season, you can look at a bunch of games, but if you really think about it, you could probably count a bunch of plays, and you're like, that's the season right there.
Outcome of game. No, few games.
Turnover here, a drop there, a coaching call here. You know what I'm saying?
5 plays, it could change your record from 7-5 to 11-1.
Literally. So true. It's not even close. Like so true. Like that's just a fact. Like it could be the difference between being 5-5 and undefeated for real. The only concern I have with Tulane is obviously TJ Finley's situation. Yeah. I'll be honest. I thought he was the perfect person to bring because he started at people forget he started at all these places he transferred to. Yeah, was the engine at all these places. Yeah. So his situation, I'm only a little concerned about what their quarterback situation is going to look like. Okay. That's because fair. Duke paid a lot of money to take their quarterback.
No, they did. Duke, and look, that's fair. You know what I mean? So I think we'll see what happens with that. So
right. Nah, for sure. What we got on the docket? What we got on the horizon?
Michigan. Now I understand you're not a fan of Michigan, so this should be an interesting segment. Sharon Moore got suspended 2 games. I thought the suspensions were done, but clearly they're not. Harbaugh, he got up out of there. But, still the consequences are coming down on Michigan. And, I said this when he took the job. I think it was of course, it's a great opportunity, but it was not set up for him to succeed. And as you can see, I think it's only gonna get worse. They beat Ohio State last year, which was good, but no, I think I'm not sure when the next time that's going to happen, to be honest.
But he did pull the number 1 player in the country.
Dang,
NIL pulled the number 1 player in the country.
I forgot about Bryce. Yeah, I forgot they stole him from LSU. Okay, that's fair.
And we all know in college, if you could pull a big recruiting class, it gives you a year or two. It secures you some time. Recruiting classes, they save coaches' lives. They do.
It wasn't the coach that did it. It was the NIL that did it.
And that's also a fact. But NIL saving these coaches now too. That's why they want to go to the schools with the biggest purse because you can't win without having some sort of NIL, funded. Look, for those who don't know, obviously I went to UConn, Tennessee State. Those are my alma maters. Love those places with my heart. But my allegiance will always be to Ohio State University. Been a fan my whole life, pretty much. Braxton Miller till now is like my introduction. And I've been a fan ever since. I will say this. I do think Jerome Moore was put in place to be Jim Harbaugh's fall guy. But I'll say this, Chris. It's a heck of an opportunity to be the fall guy.
Yeah. That's your first head coaching job? Yeah. Like, that didn't happen. People will talk about Deion jumping to Jackson State, but you straight at Michigan as a head coach. Like he didn't start. He didn't go to Eastern Michigan first. He didn't go to Ball State. Like no, he didn't have to turn one of those programs around. Like he came at Michigan fresh off a national championship.
Yeah.
Like that's a hell of opportunity. You know what I mean?
No, 100%. It's a hell of an opportunity. And then two, I mean, your first year you beat Ohio State with no quarterback. I was sick to my stomach.
And they win the national championship. You can say, yeah, we beat them.
We beat like when I say Sharon Moore, like when people say like, oh, he ain't gonna be there long. He's just a placement holder. I don't know if you could be the placement holder for too long. In your first your first season in the offseason, you beat Ohio State in a season that you had no business being Ohio State. And then to start your offseason, you land the biggest player in the country. I mean, these are the best hand-me-downs in the world, Chris. The best hand-me-downs in the world.
You're right. I will say he has to win this year.
Oh, yes.
Like I know they got Bryce, but like Sharon, he was a running game coordinator right before he like. If they don't win this year, they're gonna bring in a coach with a passing background.
Yes.
To help Bryce develop. Because they don't want to waste that. They don't want to waste that talent, that opportunity. You know what I mean? So I think he has to win this year and prove that, yeah, I can have success here. Like not just one game, but like I think he needs at least 9 wins, 8 wins this year at least.
Yeah, they need to be in contention for the playoffs for sure. Yeah. I no doubt believe that. I will say though, I do think he'll have a little bit of leeway because he'll probably be starting a true freshman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this kid 18.
Yeah, he's like I said, number one in the nation and number one in the nation. So yeah, I'm interested to see how Bryce does, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they've recruited well around them. They have talent on the team. Like you said, they didn't have a quarterback last year, so he could be the missing piece. We'll see.
100%, 100%.
I know that defense lost some big pieces in the draft, but we'll see the Will Johnson to Mason Graham, those guys. But
definitely. I mean, they're gonna have the talent. So regardless, the future. I don't really like to talk like in praises of Michigan, but we'll see what happens. Sharon Moore gonna pay his little 3-game bid, and that's got to get to work because there will be eyes.
Yeah. All right, man. Last topic for tonight. Heisman Trophy next year. This year we had Ashton Jeanty, kind of came out of nowhere, had a hell of a year. People thought he was going to break Barry Sanders' record for a minute. Travis Hunter, of course, who's been one of the best players since he stepped on the football field in college.
Yep.
And Cam Ward, who transferred from Washington State to Miami. Kind of, as a Miami fan, someone that we were waiting for to kind of help us get back to where we had been in the past. Fortunately, couldn't make it to the playoffs this year, but kind of put us in gave us good momentum going forward. So this year, man, who you looking at? Who are some of your favorites? Some of these quarterbacks from Lenore's, Drew Aller.
So my number one for Heisman this year is I think Jeremiah Smith is going to have a Devontae Smith type of season. I think he might have one like a Michael Crabtree. I think he's going to really push for that because especially with them having either Tavian St. Clair, Lincoln Keenholz, or Julian Sand being the starter, he is going to be propelling one of those quarterbacks. And so I think he can have like a Devontae Smith type of season. He's also a freak show. He has the media narrative as well. So he's going to get love from the media voters. He's my number one contender. Now, on the outside, looking in the other guys I have in the mix, Arch is going to have the media love. I think if Texas is humming, he'll obviously be easily in that mix. I'm going to throw in Lenore Sellers. I'm going to even throw in Garrett Nussmeier over at LSU. He's going to have a shot. Now, my long shot, though, this is just a name. Obviously, I brought up Dante Moore. I'll give him some love, too. But my long shot, the name that I feel like if he can revitalize this team in the SEC, we're going to be talking about this guy. The only reason I didn't bring him up about that quarterback one conversation is because he has to do it in the SEC. John Maytier over at Oklahoma is a dog. Can run it, can throw it. He is huge. he has those tools we talk about. If John Mateer can have an insane impact for Oklahoma in the SEC this season, he's going to put his name into that bucket because he's going to do it on the ground and he's going to do it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how in Heisman Trophy conversations, those quarterbacks that have those accumulation of yards, it helps your case, especially in the SEC. I mean, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, Cam Newton. What did all three of them have in common? They were the leader at rushing and passing at the same time as they were winning those Heisman trophies. So I definitely think he'll have a good shot if he can have success at Oklahoma.
Those are some good picks, man. Like you said, Arch. I didn't think about Jeremiah Smith. I don't know why I didn't, but like I said, he's a baller, man, and I guess just because he's a receiver. But like I said, if he has a Devontae Smith here, because Devontae went crazy. But I think, and it'll be interesting to see how they play him next year. I will say that, like, because he'll probably get triple teamed. If D coordinators are smart, he will. So maybe we'll see how that goes. But I like Lenoris as well. I think South Carolina definitely has to be a contender for that to happen. And then like I said, I like Cade at Clemson, just because I think Clemson's probably going to win the ACC, or at least be up there. It's between them and Miami, in my opinion. I think SMU will be pretty good, but they're going to win. He's probably going to be the leading rusher and passer on their team. Phil Maffa left last year. So I think he'll definitely be in contention. But for some reason, Clemson quarterbacks, they're always second or third in the Heisman. Like, they never win it. I like Gus.
That's so true.
Deshaun
Watson.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
They never win. It's like they get second or third for some reason. So I think he'll probably fall right along in that category. And then I think if you talk about somebody kind of revitalizing the program, this guy is young, but when he played, they were really good.
Right.
DJ Lagway.
I love it. Great name.
Yeah, I think if because like I said, when he played, like they beat some good teams. When he didn't play, they were horrible. So I think
he has a lot of juice. A lot of juice.
And I think the coach down there, he was on the hot seat for a while, but Lagway kind of like is keeping him afloat right now. So I think they'll have a decent team this year. So
I'll throw one more long shot out there for this kid too. I do think he deserves to be named. Sam Levitt, Arizona State.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I will say this: when I watched him play head-to-head against Quinn Ewers, I know Quinn Ewers made that throw the game to Dice to end him.
Yeah,
he played a better game to me.
Yeah, I think the one thing that will hurt Sam this year is just that West Coast bias. Like, people not saying that like to watch them, they don't see them play as much as they see SEC or Big Ten games.
Right.
That's probably the one thing that hurt him, because he's a baller. And like what they did at Arizona State to be picked last in the conference and end up winning and going to the playoff and almost beating Texas, like that's crazy.
So, they were a coverage away.
No, for real.
And I still to this day don't know why they squat, man. We playing squat off, man. Like he's sitting on the route. We sitting on routes.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
At that time, yeah, it's crazy.
And so come on, and that's the coach.
Right.
That's the coach, because that kid was squatting, like you could tell. It was
right
because he reacted so late, So
no, those some good picks, man. So we'll see. One thing, Alabama. I'm not saying for the Heisman, but no, Alabama has Keelan Russell from Texas coming in.
Yep.
Man, I'm excited to see this guy. Like he has some juice as well. So
do you think he'll win the job?
That'll be tough. I think eventually he will.
Okay.
To be honest, I think Kalen, Coach DeBauer, I think he's gonna do, like, they're not used to losing them as much as they did last year. So
right,
he's gonna do whatever he has to do to whether it's starting a true freshman. I mean, Nick Saban did it. Like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Like he's done it before. So I think.
Can I ask you one question though before we go, please?
Yes, of course.
I had a conversation about Jackson Arnold in Auburn.
Okay.
And somebody is out there trying to really convince me that what we saw at Oklahoma is not the real Jackson Arnold.
Look,
and he believes in his whole soul
look,
that Jackson Arnold is about to take Auburn is having a resurgence next year.
Look,
I don't know if I'm there.
He was a 5-star. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
He struggled I think he was trying to do too much at Oklahoma last year sometimes.
Yes.
But Auburn, I think, is a good place for him. I think, for one, Oklahoma getting adjusted to the SEC was something in itself. Two,
Right.
but they had weapons down there. Cam Coleman, like they had weapons.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be throwing to some talented receivers, and like I said, I think with the talent around him, I think he has a kind of nothing to lose. I think he had a lot of pressure on at Oklahoma, in a new environment now where he's not looked at to be the
savior. Yeah, like this. Yeah.
And he has an offensive minded coach. He doesn't have Brent Venables anymore. So we'll see. I think the pieces are there for him. He just has to put them together. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I'll definitely be watching. I'm curious. I'll say this. It was one of those things where, like, I don't know if I'm there with you, but I ain't mad at you either. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let me see, because I see what you're trying to tell me, but I just don't know. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
That's real. All right, man. J-Rob, it was a pleasure, bro. It was a pleasure, man.
It was a pleasure as well, Chris.
Until next time, look, we got tons of new topics for you guys next time. Probably go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
We just getting fresh, just getting started, getting our feet wet. So looking forward to being with you guys all year, man. How you feeling about it, J-Rob?
I'm excited. I'm excited to get to know the chat. I'm gonna be honest, because I love the chat. I want to hear what guys got to say, because I love to see who hates my takes, who hates your takes, who we're gonna have our debates with in the chat. And leave some comments too. Make sure I leave a like on the way out. Leave a sub on the way out.
We gotta watch out for Auburn as well. Comments. So I guess they might be seeing the Jackson Arnold hype too. So we'll see.
Yeah, Jamie. Yes, Jamie Niemeyer. Yes, 100%. Watch out for Auburn as well. So yeah, for sure. Leave a comment on the way out. Maybe some things y'all want us to talk about too. We're not against any of y'all topics, especially if they're good. But I'm excited for the season. I'm excited to learn more of Chris's opinions about the landscape, and it's going to be looking like a great season. I think with NIL, the playoffs, now we're kind of really like ingratiated into it now. We've been in it for a few years. I think this college football season is going to be electric.
Yeah, for sure, man. Looking forward, guys. Jackson, what's up? We will see you guys Sunday. Talk more about football, man. Holla at you, J-Rob.
Peace, chat.